On Beyond the Gates, Mona and Laura fawned over a large bouquet that had arrived for Nicole and wondered who its sender was. As Nicole entered her office, Mona had narrowed it down to Carlton, but Nicole correctly deduced that they had come from Ted. Laura and Mona were shocked that the accompanying card read, "Thanks for last night." Nicole wouldn't elaborate and wanted to jump into work, but Laura was desperate for some sign that the Richardsons would be getting back together. Mona sent Laura out to make tea and offered Nicole an ear. Nicole's only thought was that she couldn't find words to describe the previous evening with Ted. She flashed back to being in Ted's arms and was about to kiss, only for the hotel fire alarm to go off. In the present, Nicole told Mona that the alarm, which had probably been pulled by some kids, had kept her from doing something she would have ended up regretting. Mona saw the alert as a test to see if Nicole was really ready to give up on her marriage. Nicole clarified that the marriage was officially over. After Mona wanted to know if Nicole was sure she couldn't forgive Ted for his affair with Leslie, Nicole replied that it was more Ted lying for decades that had eroded her trust, not to mention Ted sleeping with Leslie yet again. Mona kept trying to make her case, but Nicole shut her down so they could all return to their duties. Nicole soon got a text from Ted, asking to meet, and if what had almost happened between them signified a reunion. Laura and Mona quietly cheered as Nicole rushed out to run an errand. Ted thought back to letting Nicole into his hotel room. Ava saw that he was in a good mood and asked about it. Ted reasoned that her old man could feel positive. Ava said she'd paid the daughter dues by putting him to bed when he was drunk. Having come by the diner to get her father, our boss, a pick-me-up, Eva revealed that Leslie had told her about Ted's divorce becoming final the day before. Ted confused Eva by telling her that hope springs eternal. Eva apologized for the way she and Leslie had ruined Ted's marriage, but Ted acknowledged that he had tanked it himself before Eva was even born. He wouldn't even blame Dana. While Ted had spent a lot of time being angry and indignant, he now saw that he was the one who had been unfaithful, though he circled back a bit and placed some responsibility at the feet of Leslie as well. Eva couldn't help reminding Ted that he had fallen into bed with Leslie after he said he didn't like her constantly coming on to him. He couldn't deny that he had been feeling sorry for himself because he thought he had lost Nicole forever. Ted found it nice that Eva was asking questions about his life, since he didn't get a lot of such queries anymore, and he added that he would soon be offering his daughter unsolicited advice about her own. Ava listened as Ted went over Martin and Smitty's vow renewal ceremony, and how Nicole seemed to be affected by her son recommitting after almost losing the love of his life. Once Ted got to the part about the fire alarm ruining his first close moment with Nicole in months, Ava remembered that Leslie had spoken of helping your daddy with his grief and realized her mother's involvement. Anita overheard a rather subdued Vernon on the phone and seemed to become suspicious because he had been disappearing a lot. Vernon said he'd been calling to cancel a golf game, as he and Anita were having brunch guests. He'd been taking up the sport again to stay in shape. At the country club, Andre couldn't believe that Danny golfed, and was so good at the game. Danny explained that Vernon had wanted his daughters to learn because so many things were negotiated on the golf course. The newlyweds were discussing being able to be affectionate in public, thanks to their much-posted-about wedding, when Leslie also made herself at home in the banquet room. "Oh, look, it's Fairmont Crest's other home-wrecking thought," Danny snarked, losing his argument that Danny's family didn't own the club, which Danny won by pointing to the giant portrait of Paul Cheeks Dupree. Danny assured Andre that she was through shaming her clan by making scenes. Moments later, Danny said, "To hell with decorum," and moved to confront Leslie on behalf of all women who had had their husbands stolen by other women. Andre tried to stop Danny, but it was a phone call from Anita that accomplished it. Anita invited her daughter and son-in-law to brunch and wouldn't take no for an answer. Leslie waved at Danny, who told Andre, "Get me out of here before I make the evening news." Leslie was on cloud nine, bopping along to her headphones and being vocal, disturbing the other patrons, as she thought back to pulling the fire alarm to interrupt Nicole's visit with Ted. Eva snatched Leslie's headphones off her head and accused her of activating the bell. Leslie feigned shock, hurt that Eva would think her capable of doing something so reckless, but Eva wouldn't let up. "Once again, Nicole is in the place you wanted to be," Eva forced her mother to face. "I'd do it again," Leslie finally said. Ava was horrified that Leslie hadn't considered the possibility that someone might have been hurt trying to escape from a non-existent fire. Leslie became upset when Eva called her delusional for thinking of Ted as her man and declared that she wasn't going to let Ted slip away a second time. "Not today, Satan," Ms. Thomas determined. She wasn't going to stop until Ted was back in her bed permanently. Nicole approached Ted at Orphe Jeans, smiling that she had received Ted's tried-and-true makeup arrangement. Ted felt that their connection the previous night indicated there was still a way for them to move forward. It had felt good to see Nicole letting down her guard. Nicole admitted that she would have slept with Ted had it not been for the fire alarm. She loved Ted and always would, but she still didn't think love was enough to save them. Ted was gutted when Nicole announced that she was finally forgiving him, for herself. The now Ms. Dupree hoped she and Ted could be friends one day, but their marriage was over, for good. Nicole hugged Ted, who sadly watched her leave. Andre cheerfully greeted the Duprees, while Danny correctly intuited that a serious discussion was about to be had. Vernon wanted to tackle the state of your union, more specifically that Danny's marriage to Andre was ongoing. Andre silently tried to calm Danny, who fumed that she had been making her own decisions since she was 17. Anita felt it was better for her and Vernon to ask their questions directly instead of having to make assumptions about what was going on. Each parent took one newlywed aside for a private conversation. Vernon was surprised that Andre wasn't feeling intimidated by the summons. Andre noted that he had answered Vernon's questions about his intentions where Danny was concerned before. He reiterated that he still planned on valuing Danny and treating her with respect and dignity. Vernon understood Andre's contention that Danny wasn't a child anymore, but was certain that if Andre ever became a father, he would still feel a need to protect his offspring at any age. Andre nodded. When asked if he loved Danny, Andre told Vernon that love in the 21st century was likely a little more nuanced than Vernon could relate to. Vernon deemed love eternal and felt that Andre was being evasive. Andre gently denied being so, saying he loved what he and Danny had built and that it worked for them, despite it not being long-lived or traditional. Vernon reluctantly accepted the situation, recognizing that Danny was indeed grown. Anita basically felt that Danny was just throwing anything at the wall to see what would stick. Danny refuted her mother's observation and was amazed that Anita couldn't see that she was finally closing the book on Bill. "Baby girl, please," Anita chided, scoffing that Danny had been making noise about forgetting Bill for months. Danny relayed how she had given Bill the first key from his office as a birthday gift, which she felt had brought her full circle. For Danny, handing over that key was the passing of a torch, of sorts, ending one marriage and beginning another. Point blank asked if she loved Andre. Danny stalled, then finally said, "I love Andre. Enough." She expounded that she loved Andre as a friend and a partner, someone to share her home with and someone who amplified her. Anita compared marital love to what she had with Vernon, and even to what Danny had once enjoyed with Bill. But Danny didn't want to retrace those steps with Andre. She was open to a deeper connection if it happened organically. But she impressed upon Anita that it was only she and Andre who needed to be happy with the arrangement. Anita was having a hard enough time getting her head around Danny and Andre exchanging vows, let alone continuing in the marriage. Danny was fine with its casual nature and reminded Anita that she herself had been unconventional in her day. The singer pointed out that that was true, but that she had also always been traditional at her core. After Danny affirmed that the situationship with Andre was what she needed, Anita sighed that she'd have to come to terms with it. Vernon and Andre joined Danny and Anita, with the patriarch reporting that he felt good about Andre and him clearing the air. The men were united in the fact that they both loved Danny, and Anita broke out some sparkling cider to toast the still married couple. Beyond the Gates airs weekdays on CBS and streams on Paramount+.